SJK offers really good education, in my opinion, and in my parents' opinion. Like, they have really excellent teachers, and another aspect that I think goes along with that is that it's quite a small school and
Oh,
like a very close knit community, therefore. And like, we got to know our teachers like very well because of that.
Tommy is a graduate of St. John's Kilmarnock School. Good afternoon, Tommy.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm good. Where is the school?
So SJK is in Breslaw. So not many people have heard of that actually, but it's kind of right smack in the middle of like Cambridge, Waterloo region, and Guelph. So I'm from Guelph, and I went to SJK for like my whole life.
Okay, let's get started here. Can you start by giving us a summary, please, of what you've been up to since you graduated from SJK, St. John's Kilmarnock, and things
Yeah,
like where you went post-secondary school and what did you study and what you're doing now?
for sure. So right after SJK, I went to study at Western University. So I studied economics for my first 2 years and actually realized that I didn't love economics that much. So I switched and applied to the Ivy Business School at Western, and I ended up getting in. So Ivy is like a 2 year program. Like, so you do study anything else that you want in your first 2 years of your undergrad. So for me, it was economics. And then you go to Ivy and study business for your last 2 years. So I actually just finished my first year. It's called HBA1 at Ivy, and which is my third year of university. And I applied to a dual degree with law at Western. So it's like a JD HBA program. So in another 3 years, I'll be like fully done, and I'll have a business degree and a law degree. So I actually just got accepted to that last week. So that was very exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
really good for you.
Thank you. Yeah. And so I'm starting law school like full time coming September 8th. And as of right now for the summer, I'm working at Bell in their intern program.
You're working at Bell, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. That's quite a formidable combination, degree in business and law. I can think of
Mhm.
a few Canadian leaders who kind of went that path. So,
Yeah.
do you ultimately want to own a business or practice law?
Honestly, still deciding that. That's kind of my theme. I just like decide as I go. But I think I think I'm leaning a bit more towards the law side, but honestly, like, I'll see after I get to law school and like figure out like what I like the most and what interests me most, and then go from there, I guess.
Do you think that the John Kilmarnock School, JKS as we're going to call it, influenced your choice of university and the area of study that you pursued?
Um, yeah, partially, I would say. Uh, yeah, I don't know that how much it influenced the area of study, like maybe a bit. That was more like personal interest and family influence. It definitely, to an extent, influenced the choice of university because, like, SJK is like a university preparatory school, so like every, pretty much everyone goes to college or university after they graduate, and a lot of students go to Western, like Western, Queens, McGill. Some go out west, like those are the really big ones. Obviously, you can go anywhere, but a lot of people go to Western, and my mom also went to Western, and both my older sisters went to Western. So it's also kind of like a family thing.
Good lineage. If you were to write a resume listing your experience and your accomplishments and interests while you were at SJK, what would it say? What would it say, including your extracurricular activities, and what subjects did you prefer and excel at? If you can write just a little imaginary resume for that.
I would say definitely the secondary years, like grades 9 to 12, is when I got the most involved with the school, which I'm so happy that I did. and also when I started like actually liking like academics and like studying more. And so my favorite subjects, I would say, so SJK has like the IB, like International Baccalaureate
Mm.
program. So we had to select our courses from like a breadth of different areas. So like maths, sciences, social sciences, the arts. You could like opt out of an art course to take like a second science course or something
Mm.
like that. But like overall, like you're expected to do a course from each category, at least in the diploma program. So in your last 2 years. And I would say my favorites were honestly visual arts. I
Oh,
really loved it. And it was just like such a great environment in that class, but also like they made it really challenging. Like it wasn't just like making art. It was also like there was a whole writing aspect to it. Yeah, so like, yeah, I enjoyed it because like art class specifically, it wasn't just like making art. It was also like I feel like I learned a lot of valuable skills in terms of like writing and just like expressing my ideas and like just being a good writer because that was like a big component of the course.
mm.
Same with like my English courses that I took and just the program in general. You have to write like a bunch of essays like to graduate essentially. Like you have an extended essay that you can do in like any subject area that you choose. And overall, I just think like it teaches like students how to be really like articulate, also like well-rounded and good at writing.
That's a
So
great skill to have.
yeah, it is for sure. And so yeah, that would be I would say the educational, like in terms of like my classes, what I liked the most. I also really liked economics,
Mm.
which is why I chose to study economics. But it turns out like I think I just liked more of the basics. And when I got to like second year university econ classes and the nitty gritty, like it just like wasn't really for me. But
Right. What about the extracurricular activities?
yeah, so in terms of extracurriculars, I did a lot. So I was involved with the student council, I think
Mm.
starting when I was in grade 10. And my role was like event coordinator. And also in grade 12, I ran to be the house captain, which is, it's like there's four like different houses. It's kind of like
Mhm.
Harry Potter. Like Brock to come see Simcoe is what they're called, and my house was like Grant for
You didn't have to put a hat on for that, did you?
yeah this sort of but yeah, there's like one student from grade 12 was the captain, and they were like on the student council, and it was just like a really good leadership position to have at the school,
Big
especially
responsibility.
like I really wanted to do it because I have like there's just like a lot of spirit involved, and especially if you've gone to the school for as long as I had. But I didn't end up getting the house captain position, but I was like involved with student council in many other ways.
Any
And then
sports?
yeah, so in terms of sports, I did back when I was in middle school, I did like cross country and track and field. And then in high school, I just did track and field, and I joined the volleyball team in grade 10. And I did volleyball until grade 11. And then I think it was in grade 12 that we didn't have enough people
Oh,
interested in volleyball to continue. But yeah, so yeah, that's everything in terms of sports that I did.
okay. And volleyball is a great team sport, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
had like such a good time with volleyball.
Let's
That
think, excuse me, let's think about your time at SJK. What do you think was your proudest memory of being at the school for all 13 years?
so one like more obvious answer I would say is just like graduation day in grade 12. Like I was nominated to be valedictorian for my grade, so like that
Oh,
was like a huge honor for me. And like having been at the school since it goes from like K to 12, I was there for 13 years. It was just like kind of like an emotional like thing, and like just such like huge feeling of like accomplishment, like on graduation. So
Fabulous.
yeah, that was really amazing. And like on graduation day, all the seniors, like we do like a pond jump, and it's just like really fun because there's like a pond at the school, and we all like hold hands and like jump in.
Great.
Arms as
Sounds like a
well.
lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then the second one, I would
Hmm.
say, so when I was in grade 10, SJK offers like a lot of, there's so many things to get involved with, and they do service trips.
Oh,
So while I was there, at least, I think they're still doing them. Every other year, they would organize a service trip to Nepal. And
wow.
yeah, it was literally like one of the most like amazing experiences. Like I'll never forget it. But we have like a sister school there, kind of that we kind of like help out two schools, and they're like in the mountains, like in the Himalayas, and so it's like a trekking trip, and you have to like apply to go on the trip, and there was probably like 20 of us, all from like different grades in high school, and I think it was like grade 10, 11, and 12, and with a couple of like chaperones, like teachers. And yeah, like it was like I've never been so like immersed in like a different culture that was like so different than mine. And also just like physical activity, like we trekked like so much, and it was crazy. And also just like so amazing to spend that time with my peers, like my classmates and stuff, and like also my teachers. Like it was like the craziest thing. Like I would do it again in a heartbeat.
It sounds to me the way you describe it, Tommy, that you, even though you were so far away and in a different culture, but you felt like you belonged there, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, exactly. And like there's such like a deep connection that my school, that SJK had to the schools in Nepal, that is just like it felt like very meaningful. And like they've been doing that trip every other year for like years, I'm pretty sure. So it's just like it's pretty big.
If you can think back to when you and your family were choosing a school, how and why did you choose St. John Kilmarnock?
I would say, so I was an infant, but I can guess, and I think from what I've like heard from my parents, what they really liked about the school was probably, okay, one, like that educational aspect. Like SJK offers really good education in my opinion, and in my parents' opinion. Like they have really excellent teachers, and it's, and another aspect that I think goes along with that is that it's quite a small school, and
Oh,
like a very, yeah, and a very close knit community, therefore. And like we got to know our teachers like very well because of that. And so like you can get like unlimited access to your teacher for help, and like you like build like a connection with them, like it's because it's just such a small class sizes, and like you become so close with your classmates, and like it just really gives you like the opportunity to like excel in
I'm,
school. Like,
I'm going to ask this next one. If you can think of, as you were progressing probably through the elementary grades into the secondary grades, if you had to pick one thing, what did you appreciate most about attending St. John's Kilmarnock?
the thing I appreciate most like became that close knit community, and like how small the class size was, because like when I got to high school, like I just realized like how much of a benefit it was for me, like educationally, to have such like a small class. Like I
Okay.
just felt like I had more opportunity to learn and like be involved with the learning, and also just like to get really close with
Oh, good.
smaller group of people.
Let's take a step back and try and be as objective as possible for this next one, Tommy. To the
Mhm.
best of your knowledge, what in your mind differentiates SJK from other schools? What makes it so special?
Um, I would say probably it's a little hard for me to say because I never went to another school.
All right.
I would say like the amount of opportunity. Like you can get involved with literally anything you want at that school. Like, and there's like, if you want to do it, like you can do it. Like any like sports or anything, like because it's such a small school, like you didn't really need to like try out for teams. Certain teams, yes, like the Division 1 basketball team, for example. But like you could like do any sport you want. If you wanted to do basketball, you could do it. It was just like the Division 2 team, and like the things they offered, not just sports, like literally anything, like creativity, like drama, like service trips, like I think just the opportunity that they give students really sets them apart, makes them special.
Excellent. Let's personify St. John's Kilmarnock School. If the school is to become a single person, you think of it that way. Describe its personality in 3 words.
Okay, first word.
Yeah.
Well-rounded, like a well-rounded person.
Say again, please.
Well-rounded.
Well-rounded. Okay.
Second, I would say is, I don't really know if this is a word that describes personality, but I want to say like involved, because you're very involved with not only the school, but like everyone else. Like you're involved with like your teachers, like you like engage with them, you're involved with like your classmates a lot and stuff like that. So that's my second word.
Okay. Well-rounded, involved, and
So I would say diverse, because there is just like such an appreciation of people from different backgrounds and like cultures. Like they have a great international student program at SJK, and we like do all these things like international lunch, for example. It just happened like one day a year, and like everyone like comes together, and like we have a big lunch together, and people like bring in like foods from like whatever their culture is, and like decorations and stuff. It's like a big thing.
I bet that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
What would you say are St. John's Kilmarnock School's highest values in actual practice?
Integrity is one,
Hmm.
because like there's like literally no tolerance for like cheating or like bullying or anything like that. And if that is the thing that happens, like you take full ownership for it, and like you learn from your mistakes. And like, yeah, like every student that I know that has graduated from there has like good integrity.
What do you think students and their families would find surprising about SJK?
I don't know if, like, again, I don't have a good place for like comparison with other schools, but in lower school, like we did IB as well in lower school. It was called the Primary Years Program. And I think it's surprising, like the amount that was like expected of kids in like grade 4 and 5, like, and like the like projects we did and stuff like that. It was like pretty impressive. Like now that I think back, like we did some like pretty crazy projects. Like I can't even remember what their names were, but like I don't know, even just like science fairs and things like that. Like I remember the kids in my class like coming up with like the craziest ideas and like things that actually like make sense like in like grade 4. Like
Oh, really?
yeah, like I feel like we, and yeah, just like I feel like we learn a lot at a young age, and so like maybe that would be surprising. Like we also like we took French from grade 3, I believe. Like we had to take French from grade 3, and I don't think that's a thing at a lot of other schools.
Mm-hmm.
So just that sort of the amount of like exposure at such a young age.
It gets to the well-rounded aspect of the school you mentioned earlier on, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you describe for me what a typical student at St. John's Kilmarnock is like? How you remember students relating to one another? You touched on it briefly a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say everyone, honestly, like everyone relates very well to each other because they're all so close. Like because it's such small classes and stuff, like you get to know the people that you're with like every day like so well, and like you can relate with other people about with your classmates about all the classes you're in, because you're pretty much in all the same classes until grade like 10 or 11, and then you get a little bit more like choice. But and yeah, and just like every student is well rounded, I would say, and like that's something they can relate on.
Excellent. Let's get a little personal here then. Do you think your experience at St. John's Kilmarnock School shaped who you are today as a person, and how so?
Yes, definitely. Uh, Especially considering the significant chunk of time I spent there, because it was like my whole childhood
Yeah.
and adolescence. But yeah, it's definitely shaped the person that I am. I think in terms of like academics and like my like those kind of like skills, like I touched on this briefly before, but just like my literacy and like writing skills and communication skills, I think were largely shaped by my time at SJK. Maybe like my ability to like connect with people close to me, but one maybe drawback, which I've like worked on, and I think university has kind of changed about myself. But like when I first went to university, it was like I felt like my time at SJK had shaped me so that I just wasn't used to being in such a large school and just feeling like a number. Like I remember like getting my student number when I got to Western, and then it's like it's like a 6 or 7 digit number, and then like sitting in this lecture room with like 900 people, and you just feel like a little bit insignificant, and like how do I like stand out or like meet so many people? Like it's kind of overwhelming.
Wow.
Um, so, but that has changed. Like it took like a year at university to like adjust to that sort of thing. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
another.
So looking back on your own experience there, Tommy, if you had to pick something to change about SJK, what would it be, if anything? What would have helped you if it were different about the school at the time?
In some aspects, like feel like I'm like divided on this specific thing, but like the size of the school, because like what I just said to you is like that was kind of a drawback when it came to going to university, because I just felt like I wasn't prepared for that social aspect and like just like the sheer
Mm.
like size of a university class and just like being around that many people. But at the same time, it was nice from like a learning perspective to have small classes. So I don't know if I could say that I would change that about the school.
Now, how's your perspective on the school, on St. John's Kilmarnock School, and your experience there evolved over time, especially since you're not there anymore? How long has it been now? Three,
4 years.
4 years? Yeah,
Yeah.
how's your perspective on it now?
Very positive. I'm still involved with the school a bit, so I've been involved with a number of like alumni things. So I'm like the alumni representative for my grade, and I've just been involved with like a few like initiatives, like an alumni task force, and I'm on the planning committee for their 50th anniversary. So I'm still like very much involved, and I still like connect with my classmates from my graduating class. And yeah, overall, I still have a very positive opinion of the school. Like I think they're doing a great job. I haven't been back to visit in a long time, but I did go like a couple times within the first couple years after graduating, and like things are like great. Like the actual physical campus is like beautiful and like looking so good. And yeah, all my favorite teachers are, most of them are still there. And
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Okay, two-part question. First of all, would you recommend other students enroll in St. John's Kilmarnock School?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay, it's good you recommend the school. And what are the three biggest reasons why someone should choose St. John's Kilmarnock?
Okay, so firstly, one of the biggest reasons is the opportunity that the school offers. Like anything ranging from sports to like just any extracurricular activities, service trips, just recreational trips, all of that. Like if your kid wants to, like they can get as involved as they want, and there's just so much opportunity. And like I would definitely recommend that they take advantage of that if they go to SJK.
Excellent. So outside of those reasons, is there anything you'd say to a family considering sending their child to SJK right now?
They should be aware that it's like a commute to the school. Like it's not, nobody really lives in Breslau. Like, and it takes from where you're living either in Guelph, Waterloo, or Kitchener, like it's gonna be like a 20-minute drive to school every day. That's just like a small thing that you should know. Um, what else should you know? Okay, one thing that the IB program is like really, really good, and I highly recommend it.
The IB,
And
the International Baccalaureate?
baccalaureate,
Yeah.
it's like really good for growing, learning kids. And one thing, like during my time there, they were just starting out with IB, so there wasn't too many course options because they didn't have like the teachers yet and stuff for to offer too many courses. But like they had like the basics and a few extras. But now I think they've expanded a lot more. Like my younger sister, she's 2 years younger than me. And by the time she was in grade 11 and 12, like she had a lot more choice of courses
Oh,
to choose from than me. So I think they're like really like growing in that aspect, and like that's something that's becoming like a lot better.
good. What about a family who's touring or visiting the school? Is there anything you draw their attention to above all else?
In terms of like the campus,
Yeah.
or yeah, for sure. Recently, when I was in grade 12, a new building was built. So it's like a cafeteria and also kind of like the library, I'm pretty sure, and some staff offices and just like collaborative like learning space. That building is like so amazing, and I wish I had more time with
Hmm.
it. I only had it for a bit of my last year. Other than that, they should check out the pond and like the boathouse, like, and yeah, just like the whole like grounds like outside as well. Like there's like so much space and like the fields, like it's like crazy the amount of space and like freedom like students have when they're on like break or whatever. Like you can go like canoeing and stuff, and
Oh,
a lot of fun.
great. This sounds appealing.
Yeah.
And finally, Tommy, imagine you're talking to a student who's about to enter St. John's Kilmarnock School. What's the one piece of advice you would give them? Say they're watching you and you're going to give them that piece of advice here.
Okay, so the piece of advice would be to get involved. Like, you're gonna have to get involved to some extent because like there's obviously requirements to graduate, like for both OSSD and your IB diploma. You have to fulfill some like extracurricular requirements, but like do it because you want to and you're gonna get a lot out of it. So like get involved in like anything you can as much as you can, I would say.